So over the course of the last 4 weeks, I've been testing out yet another e-bike. Micro mobility in a city such as New York City and all different parts of the country is such an important factor. And when I look around for some EVs or electric bikes, electric scooters, whatever it may be, I'm looking for something that's compact and portable, such as this one here from DYU. So in today's video, I'm going to tell you all about this particular bike, my experience using it, and also going to go over some specs and some really nice, cool features that this bike has. And let's get this video started.
Let's go!
What's going on, everybody? Welcome back to another video. This is Eddie, aka Mr. Eddie Nunez. Thank you for hitting that play button. In today's video, we're gonna deep dive into my latest and greatest gadget. This is the DYU C3 folding e-bike, and this is such an extraordinary e-bike for many different reasons. Number one being convenience. And as I mentioned at the beginning of the video, today we're gonna deep dive in some of the specs about this bike. And we're also going to be talking about my experience using the bike, pros and cons, and the items that I truly like that comes with the bike. Some features that I truly like about the bike, which I guess can be considered a pro, but some little things that really stand out about the DYU bike. So the first thing I want to start with before I get to any of the technicals about this bike is the price. And I think price is very important and very competitive in today's environment and marketplace when there are so many different options in terms of e-bikes, scooters, skateboards, one wheels, you name it. Just micro mobility is something that it's really, really needed across dense environments because traffic is getting so bad. Population keeps growing, the number of cars keeps growing. The municipalities are adding bike lanes all over the place and like picnic areas, which is limiting traffic lanes, is limiting parking spots. It's just a nightmare. And the first thing I want to start with is the pricing. So the pricing on this bike, and I'm going to go ahead and look at my phone here because I want to make sure that I am accurate. It is $469 on normal pricing, but there is a sale, and there's been a sale now for the last 3 weeks as I've been kind of going to the page, and it is $329. And you can also get an additional $15 off using a coupon code DYU15. DYU15. So for $329, this is quite a bargain, but it's also a budget bike, and that's what I want to really talk about when I get into the specs and my experience using it. So the first item I want to discuss is the motor. So this is a 350 watt motor, and I want you to understand that 350 watts. So it is enough to get you around town. It's not a powerful motor, but you also got to consider the price point of the bike, right? It's about a $350 bike. So the motor is comparable when it comes to pricing and the specs of the motor. I mean, it's just in line with what you can get around that price point. But even though the motor is a 350 watt brushless motor, you don't really kind of give anything up. And we're going to talk about that when I get into my pros and cons and my experience using the bike. The next important feature that I want to highlight is that the bike is foldable. And that's very important because in my scenario, I have a car and I perhaps can't get to my final destination using just the bike alone. So I want to be able to fold this bike up, put it in my vehicle, and then take it out and just use it. And I don't want it to be sort of anything that's going to be a hassle or cumbersome to use. And this bike does fold up, and it folds up in a very particular way, which I'll demonstrate when I go through my user experience. But that's also a great selling point about this bike, the fact that it is foldable. Now, in terms of accessories, the bike does come with a complete set of accessories that I think is fantastic for the budget. Number one, it has bright LED lights in the front, and it has a rear brake light that also functions when you brake. So it alerts the people behind you, letting you know that you're slowing down or coming to a stop. It has an adjustable seat post, so you can adjust it up and down. And the seat post also has some sort of shock absorber, so that way you're not absorbing all those bumps in your rear end when you're going over them. The bike also has fenders. It has fenders in the front and the rear, which is going to come in extremely handy as you're riding to make sure that pebbles are not shooting up towards you. And especially since this is a low bike, you want to make sure that you kind of protect yourself, your face, your eyes, etc. And even if there's any sort of wet environment, if it's raining or wet roads, the fender will make sure that it kind of contains the water so it doesn't splash all over you and all over your clothing. The bike also has a rear shelf unit, so that way you can install perhaps a little basket, a little bag, any sort of maybe items that you're carrying with you, your book bag, your backpack, tie it up. It's really cool and convenient to have sort of that basket area in the back. And then it does have sort of a display in the front, which will let you know how much power you have left on your battery. And that's pretty much all that it does. And you also have a nice little bell. And then, of course, you have front and rear brakes with the bike. And then one other item that I do want to sort of cover, which is not really an accessory, but it kind of is, but is also a complement in terms of a feature, is that the throttle, normally on scooters and bikes, you have a thumb switch or a thumb throttle, right? Where you have to press down in order for the bike to go. This has a actual throttle, like a motorcycle, where as you kind of twist, it gives you acceleration to go forward. So those are some of the features of the bike. Now, let's talk about pros and cons using the bike, and then my overall experience using it over the last 4 weeks. All right, so let's get into the things that I like, as I mentioned, on the bike. Let's walk over to the bike, and that's the number one thing I want to really start with as a pro is the fact that this bike is just so portable. I mean, it's truly really portable. Look how small it is. I currently have it on this picnic table here. I know it's probably, I shouldn't be doing this because the tires and people eat there, whatever, but anyway, look how small and tiny this bike really is. And I'm going to demonstrate to you how easy it is to fold by just going ahead and removing this right here. You just simply take this off. You kind of just, you don't take it off, you unlock it and it folds down. And then you also have to go ahead and remove the seat post to even have more sort of compactness, if that's even a word. When you receive the bike, that's another pro. When you receive the bike, it's very easy to assemble. There's really nothing that you have to do to the bike except install the pedals here, and installing the pedals is actually very easy. And the bike also comes with all the tools that you need. It actually comes with this really convenient toolkit, so you have literally all the tools that you need and even more. But it comes with the wrench, it comes with everything, and all you have to do is just snap these on. You have to sort of install the fender here. The fender, you just have to kind of screw it on right here. It's very easy to do. And then the handlebar comes folded up and the seat post comes out, disconnected. You just have to slide it in. The handlebar, all you have to do is just snap these things in. So they kind of come folded outwards, and you just have to snap them back in. And then you just have to tighten and secure the this indicator here, this reflector, and your little bell. That's another pro, the fact that it comes with a bell. Outside of that, the only other thing that you have to assemble is the brake light. So you just have to go ahead and put this brake light on, and again, 2 little screws, and you're pretty much done. There's nothing else that you have to do to this bike. So from a pro perspective, the unboxing experience is actually really great. and the assembly, it's so easy. Now, another benefit is the weight of the bike is extremely lightweight, and this is the battery right here. This whole piece is the battery, and it's not really much of a big battery. It's a 7.5 milliamp hour battery. It is rated for 36 volts. The power is rated for 350 watts, just like the motor. And it does have a BMS, which is very important, especially as you don't want to make sure that the battery explodes, God forbid. So the BMS does protect from that. And the charge time is 3 to 4 hours. That's the amount of time that it takes. Now, the bike only goes 15.5 miles. We'll talk about that in a little bit. And the range in throttle mode is 13 to 15 miles, but in pedal assist mode, you get about 20 to 23 miles. That is what it's rated for. And then uphill is rated for an incline of 15 degrees. So to sum up the pros, what I really like is the convenience factor. It is a small little bike. It folds. It has this throttle here, as I mentioned, so you can just throttle up and it goes. You have your little display right here, your indicator, you have a bell, and then you have the ability to turn on both the front light and the rear light, where they turn on simultaneously. It has all these accessories, as I mentioned, so they didn't really cheap out. Overall, I think those are the pros of this bike. For a $350 bike, fantastic deal. Now let's go ahead and talk about some of the cons. So every bike has cons. Every product you get has cons, right? And what I would say as a con for this bike is the fact that it doesn't have suspension, the fact that it doesn't go faster than 15 miles per hour, and the fact that the motor is not really as strong as it could be in order to really climb up hills. But when I think about what I just said as a con, you also have to remember where I started. This is a budget bike to be around the city. It is something that's light. It is something that's compact, something that's designed for you to travel with in your vehicle, on the subway, on public transportation. It is really a mobility vehicle within your neighborhood or within a short range of distance. So when you think about it from that perspective, what I just mentioned as a con is not really a con, because that is kind of what you get when looking to purchase a bike at this price point. So overall, not a deal breaker in my opinion. And if I had to buy this bike all over again, I definitely would. All right, so let's conclude this video with my final impressions of the bike. The bike is a fantastic bike for the price point of $350 on sale or $449 on regular price. Either way, of course, it's going to be better buying it on sale, but either way, it is a fantastic bike at a great price point for what you're getting. All the accessories, you're getting a complete package. You're getting every possible accessories that you need, except the added on stuff that I mentioned, such as a basket or whatever, but not everybody wants to have that. The bike is very convenient when traveling, as I mentioned, whether within your own local neighborhood or you want to place it in your vehicle and go to a local park or go somewhere else and you want to use this to kind of navigate. This bike, I would even recommend it for kids. I had my son use it and he fell in love with it because of how just easy and lightweight it is. So thinking about this bike and my experience using it over the last 3 to 4 weeks, I'm satisfied. I'm extremely satisfied. Remember, at the price point, you're getting a whole lot. Riding the bike has been extremely enjoyable. My family has used it. My kids has used it. My mom has even gotten on it and really fell in love with it and ordered one for herself. And she's actually going to ship one of these bikes to the Dominican Republic so she can ride from her home to her local park and not have to drive. So if you think about it, that's the intention of this bike, is just short commutes, really making life easy. Micro mobility, electric vehicles such as a bike like this, it's something that is extremely needed in today's day and age where everyone has a vehicle and just traffic has been an extreme nightmare, especially in cities such as like New York City. In terms of the speed, I think I'm getting about 10 to 12 miles per hour. That's enough on a little bike like this. You got to remember you're on a small little bike, smaller tires. If you kind of hit a pothole or you bump into something, you could potentially injure yourself. Always wear a helmet when riding a bike. Doesn't matter how slow or fast you're going. Don't use me as an example. I'm not riding with a helmet today. I should have been. But yeah, I think you should definitely check it out. I highly recommend this bike if you're looking for something small and compact that's not going to be a hassle to you. If you are in the New York City area, I'll extend myself again. If you are in the New York City area, go ahead and reach out to me on X at Mr. Eddie Nunez or send me an email. And I would be happy to let you take the bike for a test drive and you can try it out for yourself. That's how comfortable I feel about this bike and recommending it to you. And also, final thoughts. Remember, it's a $380 bike. Don't think it's going to be a Super 73. Don't think it's going to be like a Sauron. I mean, these are two bikes in total different classes. This is a portable bike that comes in at a budget price point, and you're getting a whole lot for that budget pricing. So that's pretty much it, guys. Let me know what questions, what comments, what feedback you have about this bike. I'll be sure to answer all of them. I have links in the description below as well, where you can go ahead and check out DYU. Not only do they make this bike in particular, but they have several different folding bikes. They have several different e-bikes, large and small. Go ahead and check out their page. If you do shop, make sure that you let them know that Mr. Eddie Nunez sent you that way, and you might get a little freebie, who knows. But anyway, thank you again so much for watching, and until next time, peace. I'm gonna get back on this bike and start riding.